Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this lovely webinar that we'll be having today. On behalf of Media and Entertainment Skills Council, this is Pooja, and here today we are going to talk about media convergence and its implications for career and skills. This webinar is in association with Global Media Education Council, and this team is doing a wonderful job. So let me quickly introduce you to the speaker today. Today we'll be having Professor Ujjwal Chowdhury ji with us. He has been recently appointed as an executive director of International Online University, which is registered in USA and operational from Dubai. Since 1st November 2022, so this is very recent, he's a maverick who travels between communication, academics, and its practices, between profession and social engagement, between traveling and staying put. He has been also strategic advisor and professor with Daffodil University and vice president of Global Media Education Council. He was till 2021 and pro vice chancellor of Adamas University. And he had been earlier the dean of Symbiosis and Amity Universities, apart from Pearl Academy and Whistling Woods International. I have a lot to talk about Ujjwal, sir. Trust me. So here, I would like to mention one more thing. He has been a wanderer, working as a media consultant in Nepal, consulting with Amsterdam Film School in Netherlands, who works on films for WHO in several nations and working with Accor Media in the West. Again, I'll say I have a lot to talk about him. So without wasting time, would love to welcome Professor Ujjwal Chaudhary here.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So good to have GMEC with us on our platform of Vidyadan. So
Great
today,
to
thank you. So today our topic is media convergence and its implications. So like as a layman, we understand it's like involving an interconnection of some information, technologies, networks, and content. What would you be covering today, sir?
So basically, when multiple things come on one platform, we call it convergence. Any multiple thoughts. It could be multiple thoughts, so converging mind, converging a conference, which is a convergence of many flow of thoughts. So in this context, convergence can be at different levels. It can be a convergence of multiple platforms of communication. When you have the mobile, which combines the radio, the television, the print, and the internet together, it can also be the convergence of the different functions of media and communication, whether it's information, persuasion, entertainment, coming together on one platform. It can be the convergence of content, technology, and business, three aspects of media. So we are moving towards a world where siloistic or standalone media does not have much chance, particularly in the context of COVID and the post-COVID situation of 2022. We are almost in the last 1 month and few days to go of 2022. So it is clearly a world of convergence, and it's a web-led media. So how is this web-led media and communication impacting upon careers? That will be the topic of our discussion today.
Wonderful. So I think so much to learn in the 60 minutes topic. So I'll be learning at the back end, so handing over the session to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Poojaji. Thank you, Manushree, for inviting me to this session. And I'm sure through the platform of MESC, GMAC, and the YouTube channel, now and in future, a good number of people would be listening to this, and I would look forward to even feedback, interactions, and all on how the media is converging, what impact is happening on careers in media. So without taking much time, I'll straight go to a PowerPoint presentation which I prepared for today. Someone has to tell me if it is being seen.
Sure, sir.
The presentation is being seen.
Not now.
Okay, I'll get into it. Allow me a moment.
Sure, sir.
It seems I moved out of the
I
yes.
think the excitement is rising, because a lot to learn from your presentation. Really excited to see it. It's here. We can see it now.
Full screen, can you see?
No, it's the presentation with the side window, with the
I don't know
navigation
what
view. Yeah,
happened. Just a minute. Let me reopen it.
sure, sir.
Allow me to reopen it. Okay. Allow me to reopen it. There was some problem, it seems. Uh, yeah. Now you can see the screen.
Yes, sir. Now I can see that. I think it's written
Logos
English
are
bug.
actually logos are there.
Yeah.
No. Can you see the screen now?
So can you like, is there some slide having Bangla and English written and some cross?
Yeah.
Really?
I think it has gone Zoom, I guess.
Okay. Let me go out and come back again for a moment.
Yeah, sure. So we are so excited for this session. Here we'll be talking a lot about media convergence and its implications for career and skills. I am sure the implications are going to be all positives and we'll have a lot to learn from it. Because ultimately, when we talk about media convergence, media being interlinked with all sectors, or I'll say not it's not just subsectors, it's linked with other industries as well. No, so it's no more just individual industry working, but it's an entire gamut which is involved with other industries also. For example, any industry now needs a media, media professional or media, people who are working in this. Ujjwal sir is back.
Yeah. There are sometimes are technical glitches. I'm very sorry for this. Can you now see the screen properly?
I can see the screen with the side navigation, so just try function F5. Yeah, it's good now.
It's good? Okay,
Yes,
fine.
over to
So
you.
sorry for the technical glitch. We'll move to the discussion. So our topic today given is media convergence, COVID and media careers ahead. We all know that there are 6 types of media. One, the commonest one that we know, the morning newspaper or magazines, offline, then outdoor kiosk, cinema, and hoardings. All that you see outside is also offline. And when you can see, touch something, it's considered as offline. Then the online one, which is all encompassing social media, portals, web entertainment, then radio and television, on air media. And we participate in events and roadshows almost on a daily basis, on ground media. All of these can be now received on the mobile, including events. There are e-events for that matter. So you have media on the handset or on mobile, which is a convergent media, where the other 5 come together on the handset. So if we go into understanding communication, how convergence has impacted, COVID has impacted uh, news media or different types of media, and what sort of impact on careers is there, we'll have to begin with news, because till now, when we say media, people do not think entertainment first. They think in news first or information first. So as we are seeing today, while newspapers have come back, television channel is also there, but immense rise in the news on the portals, news through YouTube, news through mobile journalism is on the rise. So Mozo channel, for example, Barkhadat runs Mozo channel. There are hundreds of other YouTube channels giving news. There are hundreds of internet-based news channels as well. Why is it easy? Even newspapers have their portals which are easily available on the mobile. So the creation of content and consumption of content of news, both happening on the mobile. And it's easy because it's portable, updated, search driven. So in a newspaper, the editor tells you what to read and on which page. In a television, the channel tells you, and even the sequence of what to watch. You search as a consumer, you search news only on portals, search driven. So it's lower cost to produce, surely, and consume as well. Much lower cost to produce and consume. And the audio, video, and the text and information and graphics, all and pictures, all come together on online. Only audio is in radio, audio, video is in television, audio, video, text, infographics, and pictures all come together only in the context of online or what you consume through your mobile. User-generated content is quite a bit, and that's why we often say there is a huge university that exists on the WhatsApp, because large amount of content is generated by the user and forwarded as well. Groups of users with purposes, whatever they do. Citizen journalism is becoming significant because many of the stories that we see actually have begun with the first visual, first comment, or the first information coming from a citizen, especially with respect to natural catastrophes or human catastrophes. Gatekeeping is crumbling because of mobile and because of multiple opportunities or options online. The concept of gatekeeping and agenda setting is becoming less significant. If one media organization sets an agenda, keeps the gate, there is 100 others breaking that. Lower entry barriers when you create content on the web. Accurate analytics. Google Analytics tell exactly how many people are visiting from where and for what, for how long. And therefore, advertisements can have a focused business option, and you can raise the fund through crowdsourcing as well. However, the challenge of mobile or online journalism is the challenge of false content, what we often call as fake news. But if it is fake, it's not news. If it is news, it's not fake. Then there is misinformation. When I get a false content and I send to people, that's misinformation. When I create something wrong, something false, and send to people, is disinformation. When something is created to kill someone, lynch someone, create huge business loss, then it is malinformation. So misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation is becoming a big challenge in today's web-based journalism scenario. And hence, we need media literacy movement as we go ahead. Yes, the role of media was supposed to be that of a watchdog, but increasingly, the role of the media is more conformist to those who are in power, not just political, but otherwise. The role was supposed to ask questions to those who are powerful. It's becoming more of conformism to those who are powerful or in power, and asking questions to those who are comparatively weaker, including the citizens. So these are certain challenges we have. But having said this, the world of news media will not vanish. And therefore, we are having a new scenario of news media. There is a job loss of the earlier talent which was focused on one platform, either could write news for newspaper or edit for newspaper or make design for newspaper or only create content for television. Such people are having a crisis today. The new talent is multimedia talent in news. So I prepare a content. For example, let me give you a new age journalism scenario. I go to a spot of an event. There is Gujarat election going on. All the three leaders of Prime Minister Modi, Aam Aadmi Party leader Arvind Kejriwal, and once in a while even Rahul Gandhi, they are doing their campaign there in Gujarat. So if I'm present in the meeting of anyone, Modi or Kejriwal or anyone, what do I do? The moment I go there, I first tweet from the location that I'm there. 256 characters, the mood at the moment, maybe it is half an hour before the program. So I tweet. Then when the program starts, I send a 2 minutes clip, and then on the Twitter again. Then I shoot for a certain clips, certain portions. I write a bit of it and send to my office. It can be used in the internet, in the portal. And after some time, when I've shot enough and have passed through my office, and also have given a PTC, piece to camera, and given a short script, it can be edited. I can even do it online. These days, editing can be done from the field itself, or my office edits and uses on television. So I, as the same journalist, have tweeted, have sent an online story, have sent a voice story for radio, have sent a video story for television. In the 2 hours later, I've written about it and sent for both the portal and the newspaper next day. And 2 days later, when I've gathered enough information about Gujarat election, I might also come out with a weekly piece for the weekend edition, whether it's a magazine or the weekend edition of the newspaper. So this new talent is not available in the market now, who can juggle between or juggle among platforms. Same story, but in new packages. This is led by the digital media. So first is the tweet and the news on portal. Then comes the other forms of news or other platforms. So digital-led convergence in news is happening. And I need to understand which are the keywords that I must include in my spoken, written, or video story. In that case, the search engine optimization will play on the keywords and bring it up. There are certain ways of making my story popular. The cheap way is to make clickbait sort of thing. I put clickbait title, and easily it comes through SEO and through search. But if I use intelligently the keywords, it can still have a higher search presence. Revenue is moving beyond ads, crowdsourcing, advertorial, partnered programs. When a program is partnered by a corporate or government, this is a new form of journalism also coming in, revenue in journalism. Solutions focus in journalism we are seeing. Solutions, not just problems, not just issues, but their solutions. At least a good amount of journalism is focusing on that. Search media is is above the pushed media. A newspaper is a pushed media. Television is a pushed media. You have no choice. So the story you are liking, you are watching it, but you're moving ahead. So television is now more watched on the internet, on the digital platform, because you can watch the story that you like and not be focused or not be forced to watch the story in sequence that the editor gives you. So search media is going above, and hence, how do you make your story searched is a very important point. So the new careers in journalism will look at multimedia journalism, look at how do you integrate keywords in journalism, how do you bring in newer avenues of revenue in an intelligent manner through content, how do you provide solutions, how do you look at making your content reasonably popular by which it can be searched, how do you use mobile for journalism mojo, how do you even bring in a bit of entrepreneurship, and you might even start your own platform in journalism. How do you not just inform, but inform, entertain, engage, and involve? So a story which cannot engage the people and involve the people does not go a long way. So these are the new dimensions in journalism, post-convergence and post-pandemic. These were there even before pandemic, but the process has become faster. The impact has become stronger post-pandemic. We move beyond journalism now. Let's look at cinema. Look from one onwards. There has been a long closure of theaters. The biggest theater chain in the world is AMC of US. Second one is Cineworld of Europe. We have in India PVRs and many others are there. But then there has been a closure of theaters during the pandemic. Many outlets across the world have closed down permanently. Many have resumed. In India, most have resumed. But the footfall is not as frequent or as large as it was earlier still now. On the other hand, post-pandemic and post-convergence, short films have got a new release of life. OTT has become the major platform where low-budget short films and interesting human interest films are being released. So OTT release of features and featurette has become very common. Featurette is neither a short film nor a feature film, somewhere in between let's say 40 minutes and 90 minutes. Independent cinema has got a huge new life because when you watch a film on the OTT or on your mobile, on your television, you do not go for stories which have too many characters. Multi-character story is good on a silver screen. But on the small screen, on the palm screen, you look for story as the hero. Less characters, but more intense acting. The costs are lowered, production simpler, and stories are more real life. So there is the real life cinema that has come up in a big way. Let me give you some figures. In 2019, the box office income was 42 billion. That means cinema theaters across the world earned 42 billion. In 2019, before pandemic, before the dirty C word was known. But the streaming platforms, that means on internet, paid or unpaid, we had watched a total amount of watching was of a revenue of 51 billion. Even before pandemic, 42 billion versus 51 billion online. During pandemic, 42 billion came down to 14 billion in 2020 because larger part of the world was under lockdown for the larger part of the year. While the income on streaming platform went up to 63 billion. And last year, 21, the box office income again came up to 44 billion. But on the other hand, streaming platforms, streaming video earned 72 billion. So for sure now, the cinema earning on box office has gone permanently lower to what it is from the streaming video. The process started even before pandemic, but due to convergence, due to web being the dominant form of entertainment, and web entertainment has taken over fully or almost majorly, almost fully post-pandemic. So we have now much higher revenue online. CPH Docs, the biggest documentary festival of the world, or Cannes festival we know of cinema, was digital in 2020. CPH Docs had 30% higher audience. As we know, Oscar and Cannes recently have in 2022 have again been done physical, but now it's phygital. You can observe it live digitally and live face to face. Blockbusters have come back, but the frequency is much lesser. Mid and small budget cinema is increasingly going online. Even the blockbusters are not earning the way they were earning earlier. Digital cinema for the OTTs will stay in a big way. So this is the cinema scenario. So one has to understand that the post-pandemic and post-convergence scenario in the field of video is about making a film 30 seconds to 2 hours, any format. 30 seconds for ad films. In fact, the internet ads are even for 10 seconds. So 10 seconds onwards to a full feature film of 2 hours. In between comes small films, small short films, and featurette films. So this ability to tell a story from a short duration to a long duration, for one platform to another platform, with less characters and intense acting to large number of characters and extravagant acting, this ability is the new ability in today's time. So if you think you'll make a career purely by the large span cinema, is reasonably tough. So unless we can create abilities to move, whether I'm a script writer, a director, or an actor, or a production manager, or a crew technician, I must have the ability to move between platforms, between formats, between timelines, from 10 seconds to 2 hours, from internet, from mobile handset to silver screen, and in between comes the other platforms. So this is the future of cinema and the careers in the cinema world. Television, if we take up, again from one, television has got a new lease of life, but there is a huge content challenge. Appointment viewing has gone down. fixed time viewing, that is appointment viewing, has gone down, which was the big time viewing earlier. So you go and watch a television show, but many a time you will miss the timings, and you will watch it on digital platform later on. So the convergence has come between television and the digital. News TV will do well because people are there watching TV news, but serious credibility issue. And again, a large part of television news content is not watched on the TV, but on the mobile, on the digital platform, as standalone stories. While in TV, it's a full bulletin. Sometimes even full bulletins are used at their own time and place by the viewer and on their own device. Stories from the ground on web will be the challenge to breaking news on TV. Earlier, news were broken in TV and followed in newspaper. Today, news is broken on Twitter and followed on the television. And therefore, newspaper has a bigger challenge to bring in new angles, new insights next day. TV must reinvent as the conscience keeper of the nation, but tough call in revenue. We are finding the revenue aspect becoming increasingly tougher for television, unless it is backed by a business house for other reasons, or a political party, or funded by government or corporate for other various reasons. It is very tough for television channels to run on their own, at least not the regional channels. TV digital convergence will rise and is good. Formats and presentations are varying. New skills are needed for telling a story which will simultaneously go on digital platform and on the television platform. Episodic entertainment, that means one story per episode, not serial, is also coming back in a big way. Short films, film premieres, music, and serials are also evolving in television. So there is a continuity of the past, but there is a change in formats and styles of presentation on television. This flexibility of skills would be the need for media careers of the future. If I can move to radio, digital and analogous, both radio are rising. Today, digital radio is as popular as the analogous. So Spotify and all has become quite popular across the country. Radio liberalization is must. Government has not allowed radio news in the private radio. Only All India Radio can actually broadcast news. You can have views, but not news. And that too, views in a very couched manner within television, within radio programs or musical programs and all. But the freeing of airwaves is long due. Niche radio will rise in future on lifestyle, on health, on city issues, on education, on beauty, on sports. Sports radio had already started a long time back, but the other areas of niche focus on radio is now rising. Campus radio, online radio, community radio, development radio has been seeing an upward rise for a long time. And convergence of the airwaves and the digital platform has actually given it a push. Podcasts have come in a big way. It will be an important means of communication in portals, television, and radio, because podcasts can go on television as voice piece and portals in a big way, apart from the digital platforms like Spotify and Ghana and all that. Radio is getting a new life too, but limited to music today because of the limitations of the legal permissions, but big scope to evolve as we go ahead. Advertising post-pandemic and post-convergence. Go digital is the basis of branding today. Earlier, when we were kids, we first saw an ad on a newspaper and then in other medium. Then when we became adults, we first saw on television and then on the other platforms. Today, we actually see the ads first, in most cases, on our handset, in the digital medium, while we are surfing different portals or watching social media or whatever. So we see it digitally first, then we observe it in other platforms, whether it's outdoor, newspaper ads, television ads, whatever, they come later. So go convergent, yes, multimedia at branding is must. Only digital will not help. But digital first, and that too mobile first within the digital, is the order. Brand promise and the stakeholders' interests are becoming more significant in branding and advertising than aggressive marketing and sales. So we have seen physical distancing as the key point of advertising during the COVID, wrongly called it social distancing, but it's physical distancing. We have seen saluting the Corona heroes by brands which could not even sell during the pandemic, like Volkswagen, like the hotel Oyo and Oberoi hotels coming out with saluting Corona heroes films on that. We have seen McDonald, Pidilite, Imami, Baiju, Zoom come out in a big campaign with big campaigns. If you remember, the Pidilite, the two halves go out, the elephants were taken out to talk about physical distancing. The the two arches were taken off in McDonald to again, for temporarily, to again underline physical distancing. And during and beyond pandemic, communication has become largely compassionate, talking about good health, talking about mental health, talking about hygiene and many other. 3x return is important to understand. Even when there is a crisis, there must be branding to get 3x returns when the crisis goes off. And hence we have seen many automobiles which were not selling in 2020 and early 21 were also still campaigning, though with lesser budget. Health, food, essentials, hygiene became critical campaign areas in the last 2 years. So where do we stand today in 22? Corona impact is going to be long-term as far as communication is concerned, because people's habits are changing. So no myopic moment fixation. Out-of-box solutions solutions are required for unprecedented problems, to solve unprecedented problems. So mobile video ads are becoming popular. Content marketing, as if it's a readable, nice content, but it's actually, there is a marketing message. Content marketing, if you remember, Sunrise Masale came out with an immunity film of almost 1.5 minutes going on television channels in 2020 and 2021. It was talking how ginger or lasoon, or haldi, turmeric, they would have high immunity. And finally, they said, all these are available with Sunrise Masala. So the content was engaging in that at that point of time, talking about immunity and food, but it was also a marketing message at the end. So content marketing has come in many, many forms. You remember Facebook Face of Success. Success stories in small businesses through using Facebook. Insta ads are rising. So these are the changes that are happening post-COVID and post-convergence. We must understand there is a new consumer out there. The new consumer experiences in times of restricted social interactions. We need to understand. You need to build a psychological connect and social bonding of brands, even when the consumers are restrained in their movements or physical get-togethers. So you need to have more humor. The communication has to be more human, more engaging. So it's not about just creativity, it's about engagement. And creativity is there in that engagement. It's about digital first, that too mobile first, then digital, then the other forms or platforms of communication in advertising. Short-term acquaintance to sustain loyalty. This is a big challenge today. It's not enough to communicate. It's more important to have conversation. Communication to conversation. Web-led campaign, and that too sustained as well. People have enhanced digital habits and they're changing the face of education. So we have blended education and digital education. We have healthcare delivered from remote. We have legal consultation and counseling happening from remote. The new Chief Justice Chandrachud had just now said that technology integration in the judiciary is one of his priority areas. It has already started happening during the pandemic. Entertainment has gone on the web. Web entertainment is the first form of entertainment before cinema and television and live music comes through. So we have seen all of these platforms, all of these habits of people on education, health, legal, entertainment, whatever, is getting on the digital or at the best physical plus digital. And hence, communication and branding needs to be digital first, phygital next, convergence last. This is the formula of advertising of tomorrow, admin of tomorrow. And hence, the new age talent, those who are coming in advertising, should not only think of ads, but acts. Ads are 30-seconder, comes and goes, may not engage, but acts may be 32 seconds to 3 minutes or 4 minutes. Important to tell an engaging story, important to take it seamlessly across multiple media, beginning with the digital. Important to get reviews and engagements and comments, even negative or positive, on it. So ads to acts is the new age. So har ghar kuch kehta hai, Asian age. So kuch meetha ho jaye. So Sunrise Masale talking about immunity. So engaging branded content is the new age communication mantra. Traditional advertising, the way we knew it, may not be anymore feasible or impacting in the times of COVID and convergence. Let's look at public relations. Public relations, e-press conferences come, phygital press conferences. You have a physical and you have a digital press conference. Earlier during lockdown, purely e-press conference. So it's not important to only understand reputation through newspapers. It's also the digital reputation, along with familiarity visits, physical visits of sites and all that. PR is combining both, therefore phygital. Online dossier about organizations, cloud resources, these are becoming the new PR activities. Digital persona of the brand and the leader of the brand to be created. So earlier, it was more about the persona in the physical space. Today, it's also in the digital space. Very soon, metaverse will be a reality. There will be new layers of the digital coming in. The virtual, as we know, is two-dimensional. And it will be now multi-dimensional as we go ahead with metaverse, but that's time to come. Webinar speaking slot is an important point. So you have this series going on in Vidyadan, MESC and GMC together, GMAT together. So it's important to also be positioned online on webinars and physical programs. Research, policy papers and acculturation, because there is a new culture of digital and blended. So new research and new policy papers required. PR has to also focus there. So these are the new skill sets required, new activities required in PR in current times of post-convergence and post-COVID. If we look at events, start from one. E-events, digital events of all brands are becoming commonplace. Concerts, literature fest, Fiki frames, they first went digital during the COVID, and today it's phygital. Physical is happening, lesser number of people, digital with a larger number of people. Sometimes the physical is highly ticketed and the digital is low ticketed. There is ticketing even online, and sometimes the online one is free. CPH Docs Documentary Festival went online in 2020 and 21. They got 30% more audience and 28% more revenue, higher revenue, because people had to log in paying $5 without going to Germany, but people had to log in from any part of the world paying $5 and watch the content of CPH Docs. So the revenue and viewership both went up. Yes, 22, it had been physical, but they also had the digital version. Now they've understood that it's much more intelligent to do phygital. Cannes and Oscar Fest gone digital in 2020. Many more followed suit. Now they are blended. Now they are going blended. Sports contests, Bundesliga, for example, in 2020 started with face protection and gloves and no audience in front, all online and on television. Media amplified it. IPL cricket initially like that, but now World Cup is happening with physical audience and amplification as well simultaneously, both digital amplification, video streaming, and also electronic, watching it through the television. Webinars with an entry fee of high-placed resources have started. Sponsors are coming even for webinars and surely for blended events. Esports tournaments have started as well in a big time post-pandemic. Phygital events are being planned blending the physical and the digital. So going ahead, the ability of an events professional to blend the physical and the digital seamlessly and market to the sponsor both the physical and the digital. Think of the content that will go very well with the physical and also the digital. And in the digital space, you cannot have unpunctuality or lack of punctuality in your events. So many more skill sets have come post-convergence and post-pandemic, even on events. If we look at career lessons now, we have looked at news, we have looked at television, we have looked at cinema, we have looked at advertising, PR, and events. So what are the career lessons? First, lower the cost of all levels of operations to the minimum. Earlier, high cost production has gone down a lot. Share resources, collaborate as much as you can. 2, turn digital and create unique value to command a price. Look-alike things don't command price. And you might evolve then to the next level, phygital. But digital also has to be unique and then move to physical. Surround the stakeholders with value-driven multi-touch points. Earlier, we used to say 360-degree communication, a communication that flows among newspaper, magazines, print, television, radio, that is broadcast, and internet. We used to call that 360-degree communication. Now there is another 360-degree, virality through WhatsApp, through social media of different types, through various platforms. How do you create another 360-degree, which is a vertical 360-degree, which is more virtual? And then there is the horizontal 360-degree, which is virtual, non-virtual together, the traditional virtual and the traditional non-virtual together. 720 degrees is the new career requirement, understanding and utilizing all this. Crowdsourcing of funds. It is the new age post-convergence contribution. How do you raise money for films? Yes, earlier also crowdsourcing was done. If you remember the film Manthan by Smita Patil, Girish Karnad and all, 10 rupees from each milk cultivator of Gujarat were taken, and few lakhs were created and the film was made. 10 rupees was a big money that time. But that was a physical crowdsourcing. Now we have a digital crowdsourcing post-pandemic for films, for portals, for phygital events, for web entertainment. Today, the idea is to work with a bevy of independent talent and collaborate and not compete. Find your own USP. There is no, if one formula succeeds, 500 other people need not do the same. Find your own USP and not look alike work. Convergence is the way forward with digital at the top, and consumers must pay. And hence, because always the advertisers will not be there. I was in Dubai a few weeks from now, 2.5 weeks, attended a couple of events. I found less sponsors, talked to the organizers. They said, people are paying. The people's paying capacity and intensity is far more than sponsors paying capacity and intensity. So earlier, and in India it's a little different, you have to depend a lot on the sponsors still now. But over a period of time, we are seeing the consumer payment possibilities and intensity rising. What sort of changes, therefore, we see in the world of media education, post-pandemic and post-convergence? Media content, media technologies, and media business. These were considered to be 3 different areas. And those who focused on content did not focus on technology, and technology did not focus on business. Sorry, today all the 3 need to be learned. Media content production, technology utilization, and business or monetization of the content. All 3 needs to be learned basically before you deep dive in one of them. Then when you go into content, multimedia journalism, web-led digital entertainment, integrated marketing communication. There are 3: journalism, entertainment, business, and brand communication or marketing communication. But in all the 3, initially there were 3 watertight compartments. Those who learned journalism never looked at films or advertising. Those who learned advertising did not bother about film, television, or journalism. No more today. So while media content, technology, and business basics need to be learned, multimedia journalism, web-led digital entertainment, and integrated marketing communication also needs to be learned basically. Then we select which one to focus, journalism or entertainment or brand communication. And where we'd like to focus, we go further deep dive. In journalism, maybe journalism by platform, television or cyber or print, or journalism by functional area, business journalism, entertainment journalism, sports journalism, whatever. But in sports journalism, there will be a convergence. So it will be a multimedia sports journalism. It would be a multimedia business journalism. So this is what the new age impact of COVID and convergence is on media education. Online courses are must along with offline courses. Diverse webinars, personal gadgets and high-end digital skills are must. Mere engagement is not enough. Productive participation is required if you truly want to make online education meaningful. Even physical education needs productive participation. So teach less, demonstrate more. Whatever you have to actually quote unquote tell or teach is actually a wrong word. So all of these have to be put up through LMS, learning management system, so that your PowerPoints, your videos, your audios, your slideshows are all seen in advance, watched, read, and listened to in advance by the learner. And then they come to the digital or the physical classroom. So teach less, demonstrate more. In the physical or the digital classroom, face to face, the teaching part should be less because it's already given in the LMS. They were supposed to have read it. Now more demonstration, more participation. So mentor more to have outcomes. Read to analyze and apply. Create portfolio and live projects. Having grades and marks are not enough for media. Portfolio and live projects are critical. And live projects have to be multimedia projects because, and that too web-led, digital-led, mobile first, digital next, convergence third. So the projects also have to be of that nature. Internships, masterclass, live projects, ongoing projects, even online, even when the courses are going on offline, real life cases, travel, these are must in media education today. So convergence to specialization. Standalone non-digital media will not survive. They will not survive. So futuristic conclusions, I'm now ending my talk with certain conclusions. 720-degree surround communication is the new age communication. This requires a huge amount of new age skilling, completely change skilling. User generated content. How do you make your user generate content, and how do you sanitize it and use it? Platform focused, not merely agenda setting. However, in politics, we often see a lot of agenda setting, but increasingly it's platform focused. Gatekeeping to get opening today. Brand promise, brand value, and the stakeholder focus, important in branding. Crowdsourcing of funds and consumers paying willingness to increase, or else you'll have to just depend on government doles. Low cost, high value, and unique selling propositions for every content that is created. Go digital first, then phygital, then convergence. And within digital, also go mobile first. These are the futuristic lessons. And if I have to look at the lessons for the learners, skills for 720 degrees surround communication, blend media management with production. Don't only look at production or management, both. Platform focus, understand to how do you integrate seamlessly the online, the offline, the on-air and the on-ground platforms. How do you have integrated communication careers? Just as companies have an accountant, a lawyer, a company secretary, they are now having a communication officer. The communication officer is simultaneously a public relation man, someone who maintains the social media, the website, someone who researches and writes the speeches of the CEO, someone who also does photography, hires the television, hires the corporate filmmaker or the ad filmmaker. So therefore, integrated communication careers, not just journalism or entertainment or brand com, is one of the major focus areas in careers tomorrow. Skills of content, branding, and production, both. Merely knowing advertising is not enough if you don't know production. Blended media skills, mobile first. Portfolio skills, production, outreach, and revenue. Knowledge of all this, knowledge or having the portfolio of all of these: digital, phygital, and convergence skills, all. Now, this is a big call, and therefore, all graduations must move to 4 years graduation. 4 years graduation will allow this post-convergence, post-COVID media careers. Even the new education policy calls for 4 years graduation. So today or tomorrow, it shall be 4 years graduation. Post-graduation can be 1 or 2 years, and post-graduation can focus on a very specialized niche area. But and those who come from any other field straight to media in post-graduation, they surely should go through 2 years post-graduation. But undergraduation should be 4 years, and there can be one qualification after each year. So 1 year, first year, which is an introduction to media production, content, technology, and business together. That guy, after 1 year, if he's discontinuing, should have a certificate course in media. After 2 years, if he's discontinuing after doing more content or more courses, should get an advanced certificate. After 3 years, a diploma. After 4 years, a bachelor's degree. After 5 years, a master's degree or a PG diploma. After 6 years, surely a master's degree. So this sort of educational scenario would be required for tomorrow. So in conclusion, the convergence scenario and the coming in of COVID has quickened the process of mobile and digital-led journalism. While print and television and radio exist, it has quickened the process of web entertainment. While the radio, the live entertainment, and cinema also exist, it has quickened the process of digital branding. While advertisements online quicken the process of digital branding and PR, while branding and PR on newspaper, on television, on radio, and outdoor and events also remain there. But web-led events, web-led advertising, web-led entertainment, web-led journalism is the order today. If 20th century was print-led, 21st century first 2 decades were electronic media-led. Post-pandemic, the world of communication is digital or web-led. You are spending far more time with your mobile than with any newspaper, TV, or radio of the past. And hence, the skill sets would also need to be very different for these times. With this, I'll bring this session to an end and back to the moderator for the remaining part of the program. I'm taking off my screen share.
Thank you so much, sir, for this lovely session. And it was so informative. And I'm sure that those who are watching right now through YouTube Live and, of course, through their portal, so that will be really helpful. But yeah, without delay, Amrit sir is here. So I would love to take this opportunity to ask Amrit sir to take the platform and please say something, sir. Over to you, sir.
Welcome, Amrit sir. Good to see you after a long time.
Thank you, Abhishek. So, as always, it is a delight to listen to Professor Ujjwal. And for the last 50 minutes, I was patiently listening to whatever he told the participants of this session. It was an engrossing thing, and it was an all-encompassing thing, wherein he practically covered each and every aspect of media today. And not only that, it is an handy thing for all those who want to make a career in media, because the complete a very vivid account as to what is happening on different media platforms and the job opportunities, because obviously ultimately anybody who joins any media course or any journalism and mass communication course is always keen to know as to what are the possibilities, what kind of openings will be there, where he or she will be placed if he or she is taking up any such academic program. And the things are changing very fast for the last 2 years, as Professor Chowdhury pointed out. Things have changed very fast, particularly for the technological advancement and also as an impact of this COVID-19. So one should know how there are diversification happening in the jobs. The conventional jobs which were there available few years back, all those jobs are not there, but then new kind of jobs are there because the industry has developed that way, like as Professor Chaudhary talked about OTT. Everybody knows about OTT, but then once you go deep into the whole thing, then you will understand what kind of avenues are there in OTT, right from writing assignment to direction or to production and all. So it was really helpful, and particularly I would also like to point out the new things which are happening in the event management industry, because I remember when I organized a few sessions on event management in 2020, 2021, even the practitioners who are invited, they were very dejected, looking at the scenario which was there in COVID-19. But now you can see that there is a rebound of this industry and new things are happening. So making use of the technology, making use of the new tools, it can be, the whole industry has been made more lucrative for the professionals who want to join event management. So it was all in all a very informative session. And I thank you, Professor Chaudhary, to spare so much time and address this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, Manushree, for jumping in because I just faced some technical issue. Ujjwal sir, listening to you was really, wonderful. You have covered so many things and which is actually futuristic. Now we will definitely be looking forward to these, and like Ambrish sir also mentioned, you also mentioned that there will be new job roles coming in near future. So now if we ask the sixth standard boy that what do you want to become, so now when they actually start and look for a job, it will be a different scenario altogether. So that era is gone when people used to ask the kids of that tender age ki aage kya banna hai. Now we have ample of opportunities. Yes sir, you're on mute.
Sorry, one point I'd like to add. Though I mentioned it in other words, but I didn't use the word creator economy. So there is a new creator economy. Even not working for any organization, one can make reasonably good money and impact through the use of various social media by creating content which is engaging. There are certain senior journalists, our friends, Ambrishji and my common friends, who could not find good space in the current scenario of journalism, have gone out and created their space and running pretty well. There are YouTube channels. There are individual, so quote unquote, influencers who are actually either cause-based or news-based or entertainment-based. You have a Bhuban Bam on the entertainment-based influencer, and you have a Dhruv Rathi on the information-based influencer. So therefore, there has to be several such new opportunities coming up, as we can see in creator economy. And therefore, we must understand that traditional media is going through a churn. Yes, back to you.
Yes, sir. Completely agree. Even when you have spoken about these new upcoming entrepreneurship, I would say entrepreneurship-based things. Now people who love to travel, they are becoming a travel blogger. And they are very well with that traveling. So
travel blogging is itself a content creation. Yes. Food blogging is a big content creation. I mean, I have traveled across 37 countries. If I've really gone with this idea of travel food combination blogging, I would not have to do a job at this age. I mean, not that I'm 70 plus, it's only 50 plus, but still I would not have to do a job. But then we did not have these ideas. But the youngsters of our children's age have this idea to do that and even earn handsomely with time at their own disposal. not being slave to any system. That's a new age also aspect. Apart from the communication officers of corporates, this is another creator economy driven jobs or engagements.
True, and they are so good that I personally feel the travel bloggers who are traveling round the clock, they will never get tired because they're loving their job, because that's their passion. They're following their passion, they're loving their job. So earning as well as enjoying, as well as like doing multiple things at the same time, and earning, of course, handsomely. So this way, how the convergence, it's been good, and I feel it will grow immensely and in many folds in coming future.
The biggest challenge is so-called fake news, false content. And Ambarish ji and me have been talking how to combat and stop false content. Ambarish ji has started, and in my previous job with him, we have started something called a media literacy campaign. But this campaign needs to be far bigger than what it is at this point of time. Yes, many universities have brought in media literacy as a part of the course in their media programs. But this is not a matter of just media people. It must be a part of learning in every field from class 9 onwards, how to fight false content, bad content. That's all.
Right. So in a similar way, we have also done a couple of sessions talking about media literacy and, don't fall a trap for fake news, because ultimately that actually hampers these teenagers the most. Because at this their tender age, when their brain goes for false news. But seriously, sir, it's 7 o'clock already, and I was supposed to close this session, but somehow I'm feeling to continue and continue and continue. So with your permission, I'd like to ask just one question.
Yes.
So when we talk about media literacy and media convergence, right, how do you think we need to balance the quality and quantity?
Right. Whether we love it or not, quantity leads to virality to some extent. So quantity is needed. And that there is already a plethora of quantity in the cyberspace. But over a period of time, it is those with quality which will survive. So there have been many newspapers which were launched after independence. Not all are surviving. Similarly, as post-convergence world opens up the space for virtual media platforms, there are hundreds and hundreds of such platforms coming in. Not all will survive. Those who will survive will have to create an USP, a unique selling proposition for itself, a niche for itself, and a community around it. Now, that's another term I missed out. Community building around every media platform is critical. So community building, a niche, and quality content. These have to come together over a period of time, and content that can travel seamlessly between online, offline, on-air, and on-ground media. For example, I'll end my discussion with one suggestion. There is a big possibility untapped, and that's Ambarish ji is a rich man. He can think of this as an entrepreneurship. There is a big possibility of education media in this country. Everyone has treated education as one small segment. So you have Education Times appearing once in a while. You have HT Campus that used to appear earlier. You have Jagran Josh as 1, 2 pages or 4 pages during admission time, 8 pages because more ads are there. But there is no dedicated education media, and that has to be online, where new students are not interested in newspapers or magazines. So education world is there, I know, but it has to, and education world is doing pretty well. So there is the need for multimedia educational, initiative, education-focused multimedia initiative, online, offline, on-air, and on-ground, with a think tank involved that can consult and suggest the government and large organizations on education. But somewhere we need to begin that. Understandably, that will run on the money of the edutech companies and money of the schools and the universities. It's understandable. But can it create a trust toward the content, not against Shiksha.com, which is just an admission platform? So trust toward the educational media is a possibility. In health also, because health there are, but not at the mass level. Thank you.
Very well said, sir. And I'm so glad today's session was so fruitful. And in fact, the series have been so fruitful. And we look forward to do more sessions with GMEC. At the same time, would love to inform about the upcoming one, the upcoming session, which is scheduled for tomorrow. So I'd like to share the poster here quickly. Unfortunately, just allow me 1 minute. So I'll share the poster with the information I have, and it's for a brain behavior story by Professor Divakar Shukla. He's a Dean Faculty of Journalism and Creative Studies, Jagran Lake University. I've personally met him and he's a wonderful man, and I'm sure we all are looking forward to attend his session and learn from. It's a great opportunity for all of us to understand the behavior aspect that he's bringing in. So I'd like to thank you so much, Ujjwal sir, for spending your time. You're sitting in Dhaka and still supporting here GMEC and MESC sessions here.
Convergence, virtual, digital, technology, allowing it
So,
is as good as being in Calcutta.
yeah. So earlier we used to say social distancing, when COVID started. Nowadays we are distance socializing.
Oh, that's a good one. Distance socializing. I say physical distancing with social bonding.
Yeah.
That's another way of looking at it.
So here we have created one more, word which can come to our ears from others also as it spreads. So let's do some more distance socializing. People sitting in different cities. I'm in a different city. All four of us are sitting in a different city.
Actually, 2 countries and 4 cities.
Yeah, absolutely. So pleasure meeting you, Professor Chowdhury. Pleasure meeting you, Professor Saxena. It's so good to have you. Thanks, Manushree. On behalf of Media and Entertainment Skills Council, I'd like to thank the team GMEC for organizing and supporting in these sessions. We look forward to come up tomorrow with another session, and will be glad to see our audience as well tomorrow, meeting you all. For the students, the certificates are ready on the portal. You can download it from vidyadan.net. And yes, post the series will give you a separate certificate for all the candidates who have attended all the sessions. So we'll update you soon on that. Till then, take care. Tomorrow we are meeting again. Bye-bye. Thank you.